Hi, I'm Natalie Reyes, and today my topic is the dropouts during the pandemic. As the world progresses through this pandemic, we are finally beginning seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with the distribution of the COVID vaccine. Essentially, life without the restriction of social isolation will resume, and our schools, along with the rest of the economy, will open again. For some, the shift will be anticipated and welcome, while others may still be left with the burden and struggles of the pandemic. During these times, hundreds and thousands of students have struggled with the lack of motivation, adapting to the tech disconnect, and managed the financial, emotional, and mental burden of being quarantined. First, I'm going to discuss the lack of motivation. We all know that school alone is very challenging. School as a safe place from domestic violence, toxic households. Schools is also a spiritual place. A loss of motivation due to not seeing friends or accessing other school resources and even seeing the counselors, the principals, and etc. The lack of challenge. School is challenging for some. Adjusting to online circleism made school as easy as tap, which demotivates too. So therefore, that used to excite you, the hands-on experience from being in school, having to do the technical parts of the online school is kind of frustrating. It's frustrating for a lot of people, even myself, especially if you have different challenges like disabilities and being able to have extra help like tutoring. Tutoring online is kind of hard for me. So I can only imagine how this has a lack of motivation. Next, I'm going to talk about, on the other hand, the technology part, which is very challenging for some. Because some people are not connected with technology. As myself, I had to learn myself how to use different apps and things because I myself have a disability. I am partially blind. So it's hard for me to read things off paper. I have to have some things that are a lot read to me so that I could hear it over and over so that I can understand it. And that's not my normal way of learning things. I'm used to being able to read it, to write it down, and different things like that. So my first disconnect would be most people probably don't have internet at home. So that would be very challenging during the COVID process, going to school online, because you have to have the internet in order to do your homework online. So simply put, during this pandemic, people have more pressing concerns than keeping the Wi-Fi connected, right? Not understanding computers in general. Older colleges, students who never had to actually deal with technology or did things traditionally, that could be very challenging because it was challenging for me. As I said, I had to learn how to learn the computer, my ways around the computer and everything. And not being able to focus. When you're at home, it's easier to lose focus because you're really like, oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. You procrastinate and you're not like right on it. And multiple tabs of Zoom meetings, resources, essays, pair that with boring lessons, and you start getting sleepy. So you just procrastinate. Just don't do it. That's another challenge. My last thing that I'm going to go over is the mental health and the stress from doing online homework during COVID. Everyone has priorities. And because school, it is a priority, but because the homework and stuff, we can say we'll do it later, we can do it later. We're not actually in school. So therefore, it's not actually due on this day, or it is due on this day, but, oh, I have a little bit more time. You don't prioritize it like you prioritize your bill, your rent, and avoiding being homelessness. The overload of responsibility, because everything is online now. You have more homework, more responsibilities. You have to prioritize which class needs what done when. And having to provide aid to the family and go to work and do this classes on the side is a lot. And then there's also the burnout. With all the responsibilities that you have, it's so easy to get burned out really, really quick. So you just have to take a break. And to review, everyone has struggled through the coronavirus in many ways. As a society, we have only become stronger in the end, as well as collaborate to make it through this time together in one piece. So I hope that a lot of you did not drop out or just gave up during this challenging time, because there are times where I wanted to, but I did not. And I had a lot of reasons to give up, but I didn't. So I hope that you guys are still here, and thank you for listening.